Hello, Key Stage 3 Mabels. Yes, it's the talking head of Mr. Kempin again. Really impressed with the feedback I got from you guys on the personal philosophies. Some of the personal philosophies that you guys were coming back to me with were really good. Really showed some thinking and understanding way beyond your years, so I'm really impressed with that. Today I'm going to talk to you about something I think is very important, and that is resilience. Now, you might have heard the term and the phrase resilience before, but what is resilience? Well, resilience is not something that's easy to explain. It's an attribute and it's a skill. It's not something you got, but it's something you develop. It's a minefield to actually understand. Resilience is one of these inner strengths, and it's not some mystical force. It's something you develop over time through practice, and unfortunately, you develop it the hard way. Resilience is something you build when you've had setbacks, when you've had knockbacks, when you've had experiences you don't want to experience. That's when you find out what resilient skills you've got, and that's when you learn to develop them a little bit more. So the classic examples of this for you are going to be the annoying things like not doing as well in a test as you wanted to do, or perhaps even doing badly in a test. And when that happens, it's how you respond. It's what you do to get back up after you've taken that knock. And what I want to do today is talk to you about some of the techniques that you can use, some of the things that you can do, some of the mindsets you can try and sort of develop to get back up again, to say, okay, it happened. Right, what's next? And the first thing is that question, what's next? Once you've accepted that something bad happened, because the last thing you want to do is sit in denial. Nope, didn't happen. Nope, cover my eyes. It didn't. I didn't fail it. It's fine. Yeah, it happened. What's next? That's where we've got to start our thinking. So, similar to building on what we were talking about last week with the personal philosophies, it's asking yourself that question. What next? Yes, that thing I didn't want to happen happened. What do I do about it? Is there something I can do about it? It's that simple. You've got to be able to ask that question. So there'll be times in your life when you'll have a bad experience. It could be that you've done bad in a test. It could be that you've got friendship problems. Perhaps you've had a falling out with someone. Perhaps someone's dumped you. What next? If you sit and dwell on it, you're not going anywhere. Nothing's gonna change. And life moves on with or without you. So you've got to be part of it. You need to ask the question, what next? And what are you gonna do? How do you get back up? So there's no easy answer for this. I can't tell you exactly what to think and what to say. I can't be there to hold your hand through every situation. But it's how you get back up that matters, and once you've asked that question, what next, it's finding the answer. Now sometimes just being on that quest to find the answer, what next, is what helps you get back up. Sometimes you need a little bit of motivation, which is the next thing I'm going on to. What's going to motivate you to get back up after you've had these experiences? For me, a big motivation was music. I've had my fair share of setbacks and knockbacks in my time, and music's always been there to pick me back up. You've got to be quite careful with this one, I'll be honest, because if you've had a bad breakup with someone, or you've had a falling out with a friend, or something really unfortunate's happened, it's really easy to get lost in the wrong types of music. And having that conscious thought of, right, what next? Let's get back up again now. Let's listen to something a bit motivational. So it could be playing something a bit motivational, could be something a bit uplifting. Comedy has always been a big thing of mine. If I'm not listening to something a bit more upbeat and powerful, it's comedy for me, just laughing. And I'm going to come on to laughter in a minute. The types of music I listen to get back up, a powerful music, big power ballads, something with some raw, angry emotion, gets me motivated. I'm not going to go into torturing you with my music tastes during this. I think those of you that have lessons with me get tortured enough by that, you know. And those of you that don't, you will, don't worry. Yeah, I like to play some rather random music in my time. If I ever need a quick pick-me-up, Disney music, always the way to go. All right, that's just me. I quite like that. But also, just find something that's for you. This doesn't work for everyone, but it does for me. Something that works for a lot of people is comedy. So if I've had a bad day, I don't want to sit there and watch something boring and mundane or something horrible. Sometimes I don't want to turn the news on. So I'll put something funny on. And everyone's got their go-to favourite something funny. For me, it's a series called Community. I think that's hilarious. It's very silly, but it's the sort of thing I like. Find something that can just take you out of it. Get out of yourself, get out of your head. That's the best thing to do, get out of your own head. And it's just building up these little skills to get yourself back on the right mindset. For those of you in year 8 and year 9, you might remember last year I'd done the growth mindset for one of the Challenge Club activities. Thinking about what's your mindset. And so think back to that and think, do you have a growth mindset, sort of a want to grow, want to be positive mindset? You know, and that's how you do it. Not everyone's got that yet. It takes time to develop and build that. It's just a case of, you know, once you've accepted a situation, once you've said, right, I'm going to move on, what's next? It's just getting yourself back and motivated again. It could be talking to someone, talk it through, talk it out. Oh, why did that happen? Why didn't I get that opportunity? What went wrong? Don't dwell on it. Yes, talk about it. It's good to talk about these things, not to, you know, to moan and complain, but to analyze it. I'm a very logical person. I like to break everything down, understand everything that's gone on. Not because I've got some desperate desire to control the world. I do have a desperate desire to control the world, but that's completely separate. It's because I like to understand. The more I understand, the more I can make changes. The more I understand where a class went wrong with a test, the more I can change how I teach that class so that they understand something a bit better. If I understand where they went wrong in an exam, I can adjust the delivery of the next topic so that we can address how they answer that question. This level of understanding, I think, is really important for me. Some people don't want to know. Some people want to bury their heads in the sand. That's not a resilient outlook to have. In fact, that's one of the worst things you can do. Pretending it doesn't exist, hiding from it. You're not going to get back up again. You're just going to pretend. And it did happen. Don't pretend it didn't. So you've got to build that level of resilience. So this is something that you need to work on. It's not something that's going to come easy. And unfortunately, it's going to come through setbacks. It could be you apply for an opportunity at school, prefect, senior prefect, head boy, head girl in a few years. You don't get it. Oh no. I've seen the students that apply for these things that don't have resilience. I've seen the tears. I've seen the breakdowns from the boys and the girls. And I'm trying to give you the skills now to prepare yourself. Okay, it didn't go well. Why didn't it go well? And the flip side of that as well is, if you've got these skills now, when you go for opportunities and someone says, well, why should I give it to you? Why do you deserve this opportunity? Actually, I've got these resiliency skills. You know, I'm quite a resilient person. This is what I do to pick myself back up again when something goes wrong. And that can be really impressive, not just to teachers that are giving you an opportunity to be some role in the school, but think further along, jobs. When you're competing for a job, you're not competing against a dozen other people in the school. You could be competing against hundreds of people out in the big bad world. And you need to stand out. You need to show that you're the person that should be hired. And this is one of the things that can show you that. And I hate to be horrible, you're not going to get every job you apply for. Because there's so many people out there applying for every job. So that's why you've got to stand out. You've got to be the best. And you haven't got to make other people look bad. Make yourself look better. So it's having these skills. And when you do get knocked back from a job, it's not the end of the world. Yes, it's a job you really wanted, but it's not the end of the world. There are always other jobs out there, and that job might come up again. The person that actually got it, they might screw up. You can go for it again, have another shot. And every time you go for something again, don't just have the attitude, well, I tried, I'll try again, but make no changes, because you haven't analysed the situation. And this is where my control freak mentality comes in. Analyse it. What went wrong? Why didn't you get that job? Get the feedback. Ask them, okay, I understand I didn't get it. Can you tell me what I can do to, make improvements for next time? Was it my interview technique? Is there experiences that I need to improve on my CV? What is it? Go away and find out. I've experienced more of life for my age than I probably should have. I've had way more setbacks than I've probably should have. I've applied for jobs. I've got turned down for jobs. I've got jobs. I've even turned jobs down. That's a great feeling, by the way. Having that ability to analyse and think, right, why didn't I get that job? It's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. Sometimes it's heartbreaking, especially when it's a job you really wanted. But you've got to break it down and think, right, what do I do next? Now, I'm talking a few years in your future. The immediate future for you is going to be, okay, how do I pass that test? How do I pass that interview test? How do I do this bit of homework? Oh my God, this is difficult. And a lot of you are showing these resiliency skills already. You're getting up every day and doing your frog work. You're looking out the window. We're in lockdown 3 of how many I don't know. And yet you're still going. So you're being resilient. You've got these skills. You just need to keep working with them. Keep them in the back of your mind. Be aware of them. And they'll help you really take on any challenge that comes your way. And you'll be prepared for it. Because one of the best resiliency traits you can have is to laugh. When something goes wrong, just laugh. Find the funny in life. It's a philosophy I didn't mention last week, but it's one of the things that I always try and do is find the funny. There's always a funny side to a situation if you look hard enough. Sometimes wait, if you get my drift, but find the funny. If something goes wrong, just laugh at it, because you will eventually. And take that from me. You will eventually laugh at a lot of things. Just be willing to look for it, because it'll make it easier coping with it. So when you're doing an activity in a group and it's a stressful environment and something goes wrong, just laugh. It puts others at ease, believe it or not. If one person can laugh, not horribly, but just laugh at the situation and not get stressed, it will calm others down, and that will show your leadership abilities. And when you can show leadership abilities, then people will start looking up to you, and that will give you even more opportunities. If you want to know anything about me, feel free to ask me. I've had many setbacks in my time, many opportunities. I'm not going to go into them here, but yeah, feel free to ask me in person when you see me next, or send me a message. I'll respond with some of the weirder ones if I can. But yeah, my request from you for this one, give me a song. Don't sing it to me, obviously, but what was the last song you heard that motivated you to do something, to get back up there, to yes, what was the last song that done that for you? Not what's your favourite song, but what was the last song you heard that made you think, yep, right, up we get, let's go, let's do it. Okay, that's what I want from you, if you can. Again, as always, guys, if you need me, send me a message. It's nice to hear from you, even if it's just hi. And yeah, have fun.